Good morning everyone, it's Yvonne back to do your bonus read for Thursday the 28th, last day of February 2019, a day you will never see again, 2 months you will never see again, and a brand new year. Goes quick, doesn't it? Now you sort of listen to all those adults telling you how quickly time goes when you're a child and you think they don't know what they're talking about. You don't get it, you don't understand it. Don't you get it when you get to be an adult? And the older you get, that was the other one, the older you get, the quicker time goes. Yeah, I thought that was a load of hoo-ha too. Some people do have good insights, but perhaps we don't always listen to the people who are offering us advice. Okay, I'm using the Gilded Tarot for this reading, and I do have the Five of Wands coming out here. Now, this came out in What's Cracking reading. The Five of Wands always talks of conflict with others, because we do see it's only minor conflict, it's bickering, sort of going backwards and forwards. But a lot of the time I see this card, it's more internal. It's more like you're doing this in your head. The shall I, shouldn't I, will I, won't I, and this is going round and round. So that's the way it seems to come across quite a lot. There is a feeling of walking away from the past here. So in the Five of Cups, we see someone still grieving about the past and not looking behind to love in the future. And I feel like this is the energy you're coming out of here. And we do have abundance here. So you could have some sort of financial gain, money coming in, inheritance, and behind that the Four of Wands. You are looking for stability here. You're looking for something stable, but in order to find this, you've got to walk away from this, and that is the really hard thing at the moment. So you're dealing with something that you need to walk away from in order to bring in something good. So it could be that you're fighting and bickering with someone. It could be that, we're not talking a love reading here. You could be in a situation where you've just been constantly, not really even bickering. Maybe you're just fighting your own needs or fighting your own wants, whatever. King of Pentacles coming out here. This is a person who's very grounded, very down to earth. They sort of, they like the earthly pursuits. They like they're highly organised. I can't quite hear what they're saying here. It's very much a very structured feeling to this card. It's someone who's a little bit intent or a little bit focused on their money. But they're very, very basic. Now, it does represent the earth signs. So because of the structure and the way things are, this is can represent a Capricorn, Taurus or Virgo person. But it just may be that they have this in their chart and they're more of this type of person. Knight of Cups coming in here. So this does talk about an offer. Talks about someone offering you love. But we've seen it doesn't always mean love. Sometimes it can be offering a job or something that you will love. Queen of Swords coming in here. So the Queen of Swords represents the air signs, Gemini, Libra and Aquarius. The Queen of Swords is a woman who has her sword ready. She's absolutely open to cutting something out of her life or cutting something down, whatever it needs. But she's also prepared to tell her truth. She's prepared to speak. She's very articulate and she's very direct with her speaking. And then we have the Eight of Swords. So the Eight of Swords shows someone being stuck in a prison, but this prison is of their own making because it's about thoughts. So it's being stuck in your thoughts and not seeing the way through. But it's not really about not seeing the way through, because if you were to drop your bondage, you could walk through very easily. This is about not being prepared to see the answer. Okay, so we do have the High Priestess here. So the universe very, very strongly saying to you here, you know the answer to this. You know how to move forward. You're just refusing to make the decision. So you're being the Queen of Swords here and cutting something out. Very interesting. Feels like very similar energy to the What's Cracking this morning. Okay, and I've got a complete, and there's the Tower. How interesting. Because on the What's Cracking, when I was about to put the cards down, the Tower showed its face. Something is changing here. I feel like this is you. I feel like you have gained a greater understanding, greater control, greater, you've got a greater grasp on things now. So you're walking away from an offer from an earth sign because it's not coming in the way or shape you think. Now, this is hard to walk away from this person, but you've got to use your intuition here, because the universe is trying to tell you what you're doing here is not working. Okay, so the stars here. So I love that you have faith and trust and hope that things are moving the way you want them to. Because you've got the star, which means you're on the right path. You are heading towards your wishes. But what you need to do here is walk away from something. A lot of repeat cards coming out in a brand new deck here. 9 of Wands. This is about learning about your own personal boundaries. Learning about what you'll put up with and what you won't put up with. Very, very clear. Very similar feeling. Yep, knocking back an offer now. And moving towards, brand new path. Okay. It's funny how sometimes the reading either continues on from the What's Cracking, is directly a copy of the What's Cracking, and sometimes is completely different. That blows me out totally here. You're definitely walking away from something. The universe is promising you stability, possibly with the King of Wands? King of Cups. King of Cups. Somebody's okay. Some of you here, if we're talking about relationship, you've got someone new waiting for you. And it was a matter of you recognizing that the situation you're in wasn't serving you, because someone here is waiting. The other thing too is it could be that person that's waiting for you is the same person, but walking away from something wakes them up from their dream. So it can be either way here. But this star card is saying here, it doesn't matter which way you go, this is about you. This is about you having faith, hope and trust in the future, putting your absolute faith in the universe to do what's best in your highest good. So I'm going to read, but it's going to be very, very similar to the What's Cracking reading. So some of you are walking away from a situation. Someone may have offered you something, but it really it wasn't what you wanted. They thought it was okay, without any doubt, but you're now cutting them out. You're moving free from this prison. So for some unknown reason, you've been waiting, not seeing the truth here. And now you are seeing the truth. Your intuition's kicked in now. The Tower moment has happened. You're realizing where you're standing, what you're doing is not the best thing for you. So you're walking away. This is part of understanding your boundaries here. This is about understanding that you shouldn't put up with things that you don't agree with. You know, think about it yourself. Would you do this to someone else? Would you treat someone in this way? You know, if you don't have empathy in the situation, or you don't understand their pain, their hurt, their feel, then why would you allow someone to do that to you? And it's really funny because that sort of bolted me into place a couple of years ago when somebody said the same thing to me. You know, you let people treat you the way you do, but yet you would never dream of treating people that way. And it was a real sort of epiphany moment for me. I was like, I would never hurt someone. I would never deliberately go out of my way to cause someone pain. And I'd experienced it with relationships for such a long time, both in my family and outside of my family, you know, with relationships, friends, because I always let people, I guess I always believed that people were inherently good, and I'd always invested so much time and energy into everybody else. But when somebody said that to me, I went, okay, I don't know why I do that. because I'd let myself put up with all sorts of pain, tears, anger, unhappiness, stuckness, because I really felt like I was just being a good person. I'm not that good person anymore. I still do it a little bit, but I often sort of feel the pull of the universe. I feel the little call of spirit saying to me, you know, would you treat someone else this way? And I think, no, I would never treat someone this way. So if you're not treating me the same way as I would treat you, then there's no value in this situation at all, because you do need to have an equal give and take. It does have to be someone else investing in you for you to get back. And I remember somebody saying sometimes something about children. And I thought, well, you know what? Even with children, you invest a lot of time and energy in your children. If they seem ungrateful or unhappy about something, as a parent, you sort of have the talk with them about understanding, you know, how to be grateful for what you have. So we do that with children. We don't necessarily stop doing, you know, cooking their meals because they're being mean. But what we do is we say to them, if you're going to be mean like that, then what will happen is people won't want to cook your meals for you anymore because you're being ungrateful. So you need to start thinking about it. So we plant that seed for them to learn about equal give and take in life. So if you've got children and you give to your children, and you never expect them to do anything in return for you, including loving you for what you're doing, eventually you're going to end up with someone who is not grateful for anything anybody does for them because they expect it. So that's how we raise people to be ungrateful. You have to teach children, as a responsibility, as a parent, we have to teach our children how to give back to us, even if it's only being thankful for what they're getting. But, you know, you might be a parent that expects, you know, your children to do things in return for that. So it may be, yeah, I'm making your bed every day, but I still expect you to clean your room once a week, and I still expect you to put your clothes away, because you're expecting that in return. So what's happening here is you've met someone who has been raised to believe that everything that they get, they deserve. Whether this is in a work environment, whether it's in a personal environment, they have no boundaries. They've never been taught those boundaries here. They've never been taught to respect others because they've always had what they wanted. But the universe is saying here, it's time to walk away from this. This is not something that is going to benefit you. I feel like it's a very difficult decision. You are blind to the idea that somebody would treat you this way, but the universe is saying, have hope and faith. We are providing for you here. So you're knocking this cup back that you're being given here. You're knocking it back here, and you're moving down a different path. So again, similar reading to the what's cracking. Can apply to any area in your life, but certainly moving away from something, cutting something out altogether, really, with this Queen of Swords, and saying with the Tower, I'm never, ever going to put up with that again. I think it makes you sad. I think that you're having trouble putting this cup down, and the Eight of Swords here. You don't want to do it, but you have no choice now. You have to move on. More of the same thing coming your way. Okay. If anything, perhaps you'll teach the other person a little bit of what you're doing is not right here. What you're doing is unfair, mean, harsh, whatever. It's interesting because I just thought then, this could also be a lesson about you with these boundaries here, about you really expressing what you need, because I just said that with the child thing. And, you know, obviously the universe is encouraging me to say that. So maybe this is about being very clear about what you expect from someone else. Perhaps you haven't done that here because you're blinded. Maybe you didn't say to this person, this is what I expect from you. So think about that too. So the card you have out here is the card of birth. And it says universal energy brings you opportunity and possibility. So definitely something being brought in here to replace what you've walked away from. For some of you, this is another person that's waiting in the wings for that love you've got to offer somebody. Somebody is definitely here. But you're walking away from things that no longer serve you. Great reading.